Hello, sports fans. Welcome to the Sports Story. Today, we're going to talk about the Big 12 and their schedule. Did they get their schedule correct? Let's take a look at how it's set up over the next 4 years. If we take a look here, they clearly did not look at any regional thing here. They did not. Were not concerned about the regional aspects of this. Yes, we have BYU, Utah playing a couple times. We have Arizona, Arizona State, but for the most part, they did not even pay attention to the regionality of any of this. Why? Explain to me why you would not do a pod system or a grouping system here with scheduling. It would have been simple, it would have been easy, it would have been a logical thing to do. You keep regional teams together, creating rivalries, potentially rivalries, at least until the next time they expand. I do not understand why they didn't do it. West Virginia, Cincinnati, Central Florida all should have probably been put together in a group to have some alleviate some of the travel and everything. And it would have kind of had their regional, rivalries that they could create. You throw Houston into that group. Obviously, Houston's a little farther away, but right now, not much you can do with what they have and what they're dealing with. So I think that the idea of having all of this set up the way it is not necessarily the best as far as trying to draw interest regionally. Obviously, here, you take a look here in 2024, Arizona plays BYU, Utah, TCU, and Central Florida all on the road. And then at home, they have Arizona State, Colorado, Texas Tech, Houston, and West Virginia. Arizona State, on the other hand, plays Arizona, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, and Cincinnati at home. And then they're on the road, and then they're at home against BYU, Utah, Kansas, and Central Florida. And then if you take a look in 2026, so we're skipping a couple of years here, they have BYU and Texas Tech are on the road, and then you have TCU at home. So we're skipping a year here where, they seem to be kind of matching them up. There's no reason they couldn't have set this up where you have regional games. You get to play everybody twice in a 4 year span, and you get home and home with everybody, and you have the regional rivalries going. This is the way they set this up. Unless there's plans and they already know that this schedule is going to be messed up anyway, so it really didn't make any difference what they did, that they know that there's going to be more chaos as far as realignment goes. I don't know that, you know, there's going to be more done. There will be more movement. So I don't know if this is why they just went ahead and did it this way, knowing that there's going to be change, there's going to be some things happening. I would expect that at some point in time, we're going to see potentially a 10-game conference schedule in all conferences. And then we will see the potential of having a semifinal game as well as a championship game in each of these big conferences, and potentially even these smaller conferences as we move closer and closer to 2026, when we will see a new playoff format, or potentially kicking in with the potential of expanding beyond the 12 that we're going to get in 2024. I don't know. We'll see what happens here. If I was the Big 12, I would have set it up a little bit different. I would have set it up into a pods to where every year these four pods would be playing each other, and then they would play 2 teams from each of the other pods to give you a 9-game schedule. Now, if they went to a 10-game schedule, obviously that's going to change. But keeping these pods here, I think, would have been the most logical way to go, where you have Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, TCU, Baylor all in one pod. West Virginia, Central Florida, Cincinnati, and Houston in one pod. Houston gets stuck in this pod because they are the new people in town, the new team. Then you have Kansas, Iowa State, Colorado, Kansas State, all part of the old Big 12 in a pod. So you have pretty much the Big 12, old Big 8, teams together. The new Big 12 teams that were together. And then West Virginia is in that group with Cincinnati and Central Florida simply because of location. And then you have Arizona State, Arizona, BYU, Utah, all kind of in the same area. Naturally, they could be a good fit for another pod. So I don't understand why they didn't decide to create their schedule from this type of situation. Again, it's possible that it's just done quickly, knowing that there is probably going to be potentially even more shakeup coming up soon, within the next 2 to 3 years, and they know that things will be changing anyway, and they're kind of preparing for it. So just throwing a schedules out there probably was kind of the idea. I think Yormark was talking about having in schedules in December or January, and then they kick these out at the beginning of November. And so potentially I would say that this was done because of the fact that there's probably going to be more changes. If you like my content, please hit that like and subscribe button. And until next time, everybody, peace out.